stark cliffs turn an impassive face towards the ocean. An ever-changing sky lowers over shores whittled and hewn by the elements. The last land for thousands of kilometers, the most westerly country of Europe. This island is an outpost, a bastion against the Atlantic. Soaring over the coastline, its dramatic landscapes unfold before our eyes, the landscapes of Ireland. Before setting out on our journey, we had better look at the map, plan our route. Here then we are, in the northwest of Europe, and we will set out to follow the northern coast of Ireland. We will leave behind us the larger Isle of Great Britain, of England, Wales and Scotland, and fly out over the Scottish peninsula known as the Mull of Kintyre. Gliding above its forests of fir, we can already glimpse the Irish coast outlined against the horizon. The sea crossing lasts but a few minutes, barely 16 nautical miles. 33 kilometers separate the two. The first cliffs we see are those of Rathlin Island, whose lighthouse beam shines out night and day. Around 20 families live here throughout the year. From their promontory, then, they can see to Scotland on the one hand and to Ireland on the other. But all they see is part of the United Kingdom, for this is one of the 6 Ulster counties officially attached to Great Britain. Today the wind is blowing from the west, driving before it the rain and the clouds. Behind it trails the dappled sky that always follows in the aftermath of a storm. From this vantage point, we can see each fold and crevice of the cliffs. It's a view which only the birds usually get to see. Strange shapes emerge from the rock, fingers of stone pointing at the sky. They look as if they have been sculpted by the hand of man. Yet how could they ever have been constructed here, and why? Then suddenly we realize that these columns are part of some larger scheme. For more and more columns are seen, now stacked in close ranks. There are 40,000 of them. This is the Giant's Causeway. People come here from all over the world. Of course, these strange formations can be explained in terms of volcanic activity. But some say this is in truth a roadway, built by the giant, Finn McCool. He wanted to build a road across the sea to the Hebrides so that his sweetheart could walk to Ireland and join him. Further to the west, nestled inside Lough Foyle, where Northern Ireland meets the Irish Republic, lies a frontier town. Some call it Londonderry. These are loyalists. They are Protestant and feel they are part of England. To others, it is known simply as Derry. These are Republicans, they are Catholic, and see the English as an occupying force. This conflict is not simply a matter of religion. Its origins are complex and stretch far back in time. Still close to the border with the Irish Republic, near the sea, stands an institution which has become a symbol in the conflict. The Maze Prison. Its buildings, for obvious reasons, are known as H-blocks. In 1981, their inmates staged a hunger strike, demanding to be recognized as political prisoners. But the British government, headed by Margaret Thatcher, remained inflexible. 10 hunger strikers, including their leader, Bobby Sands, were to die. Opposite the prison, on the other side of Lough Foyle, lies the port of Greencastle. We have entered the lands of Southern Ireland. The atmosphere couldn't be more different. Brightly painted houses, a bustling port, and the flags of the Republic flying in the breeze. The loch is a protected natural harbour, but its entrance can be difficult to navigate. Since the early 19th century, lights guide shipping and warn of the treacherous hidden sandbanks lying just outside the bay. Further to the north, the coast becomes wilder once more. Its craggy cliffs stare grimly out over the Atlantic, looking at the sea, nothing but the sea. The great clouds which the storm leaves in its wake spread over the whole of Donegal. And gradually the landscape changes aspect. The cliffs give way to magnificent estuaries, an abstract painting of gentle curving shapes in pastel colors. Spots of sunlight piercing through the clouds light our way. Then suddenly, we happen on a village. Just a few scattered houses hidden behind the blocks of red granite. This is Burtonport. In this landscape of scattered islands, it would be hard to trace where the earth ends and the ocean begins. We'll continue our journey in the west. We'll go on following the coast, heading towards the south. We have entered the kingdom of the seabirds. These jagged rocks are their domain, and they colonize every tiny space. This is small Skellig, a nature reserve and nesting site for 24,000 pairs of gannets. And small Skellig has a larger cousin, Skellig Michael, which towers over 200 meters above the sea. Well before the lighthouse keepers took up residence, a community of monks lived here. They arrived in the 6th century seeking refuge from the advancing Vikings. But what a refuge! Here they had to face solitude, cold, and violent storms. The monks had to flatten off the summit of the island in order to build their shelters, domes of dry rock which have survived the centuries. The remains of one of the earliest Irish Christian monasteries still stands here. In winter, the island is deserted, but a few people come for the summer. Some tourists visit the island, but they never stay long. The weather around here is too unpredictable. They never know what the sky is going to throw at them next. Further off, Dingle Bay, overshadowed by the mountains of the Connor Pass, which are today lost in mist. This bay too is a refuge, but this time for fishermen. We're back in civilization, towns and ports, noise and activity. The islands already seem like a distant memory. So let us head out west from Dingle and back to the wild coast. We are now approaching the most westerly point in Europe, a title held by the Blasket Islands. Once, Great Blasket was inhabited, but now all 6 of the islands are left entirely to themselves. Just 50 years ago, the Irish government decided to move the island community. The living conditions here were judged to be quite simply too hard. So the people of Blasket left. The islands are now populated only by sheep and red deer. Further to the south, the Bay of Clew is sprinkled with tiny islands, 365 little mounds of greenery, an island for every day in the year. Scarcely any are inhabited. It is the mountain looming behind the islands which draws the crowds. Croagh Patrick, named in honor of Ireland's patron saint. Thousands of Catholics come on annual pilgrimage to climb this mountain. Though long before the advent of Christianity, the pagans already held it sacred. And further off still, in the last light of day, is another little island chain, the Aran Isles. There are 3 in all. Reciting their names aloud sounds like a mystical chant. Inishir, Inishmore, Inishmeen. A strange, stark landscape. It's as if the islands had been planed flat by the wind. Not a single tree softens their harsh lines. They stand in grim defiance of the elements, enduring in stony strength. The islands of Aran have been inhabited for well over 2,000 years. Relics of the distant past remain. Forts and monasteries built in another era, and built to last. Though they are so arid, so inhospitable, no one ever ordered that these islands should be evacuated. Instead, day after day, the islanders bent their backs to the task of building rows and rows of walls to hold back the soil, to stop it being swept away by the wind. And so the islanders have endured. So far, Ireland seems a harsh place, a land of storm-swept islands drenched in sea spray, where only the hardiest can survive. But now we are nearing the south. In Ireland, as in many countries, the southern regions are gentler than their northern counterparts. This is a world of sunlight, bright colors, life. In the county of Kerry, in Kinsale or Baltimore, rows of little houses are painted in all the colors of the rainbow. Here are lively harbors, and no harbor would be complete without its cheerful pub. Verandas open to the summer air, beaches full of people. A long and languid day to soak up the atmosphere of the place, to get to know its inhabitants, to sit looking out over the bay and watch the sailing boats drift by. In the south, there are major towns and busy container ports. These are modern towns, but even here there are reminders of Ireland's troubled and tragic past. This is Cobh. From these quays, thousands of Irish people set sail, looking for a better life in America. 3.5 million of them risked the grueling journey across the Atlantic. They boarded ship and headed for the unknown. They knew only too well what they were leaving behind. At best, grinding poverty, at worst, starvation. Here at Cobh, the Titanic put into shore before setting out on her first and final sea voyage. Above the town, a wall painted with an anti-abortion slogan. The subject, as ever, provokes controversy. Along with Malta, Poland, and Portugal, Ireland is one of 4 European states in which abortion is still illegal. Every year, 7,000 Irish women travel to Great Britain to get around the law. Undeniably, religion still plays an important part in the life of the country. 3/4 of the population profess to be Catholic, and nearly 60% attend church on any given Sunday. We turn our back on land once more and head out to sea, where stands a rock of sinister reputation. A lighthouse warns mariners to keep away. This is the Fastnet. The yacht race to which it gives its name is notorious. In 1979, several crews lost their lives. But the beam of the lighthouse, which turns night and day, has guided thousands of skippers and saved many from danger. Further on, a mass of crumpled metal lies cast up on the rocks. This ship was wrecked long ago. The Bay of Bantry is scattered with rocks, and so has dozens of wrecks. Monstrous waves form here, waves so powerful they can crush a ship's hull. Somewhere near the wreck of this trawler, buried under the mud, lies a fleet of French warships sunk here in the 18th century. Perhaps one day they will finally be uncovered. Once more, the clouds cover the sky, threatening rain. We must move on. A succession of headlands and bays unfolds. It's hard to tell one from the other. But high up above them is a man, his hand pointing, a reassuring presence. He is known as the Metal Man. For over a century, the Metal Man has been welcoming sailors back to land. Before leaving the Irish coast, we will pass over one more island, one last island, the Isle of Tory. Craggy cliffs and undulating fields of green. Tory seems to contain the distilled essence of Ireland. After a storm, the sky is dazzlingly bright. Rain and sun follow each other in endless succession, just as the lighthouse beam, which never stops revolving, shines out and is then eclipsed. During the Second World War, so that American pilots could work out where they were, the Irish marked out the name of their country with stones on the cliff tops. And here they still are, as if we could be left in any doubt that this country is Ireland.